I call to order the 150th meeting of the General Student Senate. First, I will read the land acknowledgement. The University of Maine student government recognizes that it is located on Marsh Island in the homeland of the Penobscot Nation, where issues of water and territorial rights and encroachment upon sacred sites are ongoing. Penobscot homeland is connected to the other Wabanaki tribal nations, the Passamaquoddy, Maliseet, and Micmac, through kinship, alliances, and diplomacy. UMSG also recognizes that the Penobscot Nation and the other Wabanaki tribal nations are distinct, sovereign, legal, and political entities with their own powers of self-governance and self-determination. Next, the clerk will call the roll.
Ethan Crawford. Here. Cynthia Shelmerdine. Here. Shay Sabsall.
Here.
Nate Fang.
Here.
Memphis Peterson.
Here.
Jordan Thompson.
Here.
Gil Rocky.
Here.
Kate Kepper. Here. Kate Buzzle.
Here.
Samuel Brown.
Here.
Elizabeth Oldfield. Here. Josh Bone.
Here.
Bassett Harvey.
Here.
James Reeder Stewart.
Here.
Young Mishu.
Here.
Meredith Waters. Here. Darren Martone.
Here.
Kyle Ricker.
Here.
Sean Jernigan. Warren. Here. Tim Berger.
Here.
Madeline Haworth. Here. Michael DeLorge.
Here.
Keegan Tripp.
Here.
Paige Allen. Here. Miles Moore. Julian Ober. Here. Jacob Chaplin.
Here.
Hope Carroll. Here. Camden Olson.
Here.
Olivia Britton. Here. Riley Mills.
Here.
Tristan Frank.
Here.
Amanda Levesque. Here. Jacob Marquis.
Here.
Hannah Blanchett. Here. Natalie Pullen. Here. John Guzman.
Here.
Emery Clifford.
Excuse.
Caspalea. Here. Dylan Demerson.
Here.
Jenny Tanaka.
Excuse.
Mark Sedaka. Here.
I am now looking for approval of the 02/06/2024 minutes and this agenda. Senator Ricker.
I move to approve the 207 minutes in this agenda. That's not long.
The 02/06.
206 minutes in this agenda. Second.
If that's the pleasure of the Senate, that's adopted. We'll now move into the Robert's Rules tip of the week. Give me just a moment. This week is a Maine motion. A Maine motion is a resolution brought before the Senate without first being considered by a committee. These are used rarely and usually only in special occasions where something cannot wait for the next meeting of the committee. You will see a Maine motion later tonight, but in order to place such a motion on the floor, it must first be sponsored by a sitting senator, and the individual bringing it forward must also sign. These can be both financial or non-financial, and once properly sponsored and signed, they are presented to the Senate and treated like any other resolution. All right. We'll now move on to general good and welfare. Any non-member may address the GSS for not more than 5 minutes. Seeing none, we will now move into new senators, officer appointments, and resignations. Will the following people please stand and raise your right hand? We have Vassar Harvey, Tim Borgatz, James Ryder Seward. Oh, sorry. All right, I'll get that. And Madeline Howard. Raise your right hand and please repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Tim Borger,
Do solemnly swear. That I will support and uphold. The Constitution of Student Government Inc. And all other rules and guidelines. To which I will be held. Further, I swear. To well and faithfully discharge. The duties of the office. Upon which I am about to enter. While representing my constituency. And the University of Maine. Congratulations. Seeing none under club maintenance, club presentations, or guest speakers, which I will add a little bit of light to shortly, we'll begin with executive reports, starting with the president.
Everyone. This week, I'm working with the exec team on revising all of our job descriptions, just kind of modernizing them for current day and kind of just future-proofing all exec job descriptions. you'll be seeing those. They should be going to Polypro this Friday. I hope to have them done by then. And you should see them at Senate next week. The changes are really just procedural and probably shouldn't require too much discussion and debate, but you'll be seeing all of them. The reason I'm doing them now is because hiring for executive positions will likely start as soon as those job descriptions are revised, so once those job descriptions are revised, I'm going to be working with Director Carroll to post some of those job descriptions, fitting in with the executive election timeline. The only other two things in my report are that I attended the first mental health task force meeting over Zoom this afternoon. It was a good opportunity to get to meet all the other kind of stakeholders on that task force. It's pretty diverse. We're kind of working on separating out into teams right now to kind of meet the goals that I stated in another report about why that task force was set up in the first place. The only other part of my report is that this afternoon we had a meeting with Kelly Sparks, the CFO of the university, Dean Dana, and Dick Young, head of auxiliary services at the university. Can you raise your hand if you were in that meeting, please? Thank you. So a pretty diverse group of people on student government, and we were able to speak about Estabrook and about Sodexo on campus, two issues that administration are taking very seriously right now. Because the meeting was literally at 4 o'clock, I haven't had the opportunity to kind of write down all of my thoughts on it. But the brief synopsis of Estabrook is that it's likely a done deal that Estabrook will not be used for student dormitory use next year. Rather, the university will be renovating Hancock and Stoddard halls into similar style rooms that are brand new. While there won't be increased housing, there will be more new housing, which I think is an exciting development that we should all be talking about. There'll be an official announcement about that shortly, but I was told that I could share that information with you. If you have any questions about that, please look out for a more formal kind of report and like my thoughts all put into one document that I'll be working on with the people who were in that meeting earlier. But for now, that's the end of my report.
Perfect. We'll move on to my report. It's a little bit of a long one, so bear with me. First, I met with BPFA Allen and BPSO Ober for our initial club storage project discussion. It was super productive, and we're looking to get a survey sent to specifically first round is going to be outdoor clubs, as they're the most in need of storage. And while we're kind of beginning this pilot program, that's how we've decided to approach it. But I look forward to making some future progress on this issue and coming back with a little bit more information as we move forward. Next, I met with BPSO Ober and James from CSI to begin conversations how we can improve and condense the dual org recognition process and make it easier for both organizations as well as students just trying to start a club. Updates to come on that. Third, myself, President DeLorge, Dean Dana, and President Trini Mundy had a lovely lunch. On Monday, we discussed kind of how we can further connect the president's office with students. We stressed the realities of a disconnect between admin and students, and discussed going forward with some joint town halls and office hours in the future. And I'm super optimistic with our relationship with admin that we've been building. Next, update on the YouTube project. I sent a follow-up to IT about getting the official UMSG Senate email so that DOC Carroll and DOT Riley, DOT Mills, can get forward and uploading our meetings to YouTube. So they sent that initial email in November and heard nothing back, and then sent a follow-up email not that long ago and heard nothing back. So I gave them a call today, and I assure you that within the next few weeks, that project should be almost complete. So that's exciting, look forward to that. Next, I attended the first meeting of the Student Success Hub Task Force, co-chaired by the Associate Provost Scott Mazzilli and Dean of Libraries, Daisy Singh. This task force has been charged with the assignment of determining what a student success hub would look like on our campus and where it should be. And myself and Senator Waters should have periodic updates on that. Next, update on seats. I thought I would give everybody an update on where we're at. Currently, we have 1 seat available in education. We have 4 seats available in engineering. Our CLAS seats are full. In the Earth, Life, and Health Sciences, we have 5 seats available. In Maine Business, we have 1. And at large only has 2 seats. And Jeff reported that this is the most senators we've had in 5 years. So little round of applause. Finally, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update on the guest speaker series. I pretty much solidified the rest for the semester. Obviously, we haven't seen one yet. Nobody wanted to be our first, but now Tom Pico will be coming next week, so that'll be our first official one. But I thought I'd run down to the list to give you an update so you know what to look forward to, and I'll also be posting this in the Senate chat. But next meeting will be Tom Pico. He's the president and CEO of the UMaine Alumni Association. Following that meeting, we have Kelly Sparks, the chief financial officer of the university. After that, March 5th, we have Jeffrey Mills, the president and CEO of the UMaine Foundation and also a former UMSG president. March 12th, we don't have Senate. Keep that in mind. March 19th is our very own Paige Allen, presenting on a few kind of pre-budget meeting items. And then after that, March 27th, we have William Flagg, the UMaine police chief, to discuss student safety. April 2nd is our annual budget meeting, and to spare us all a few minutes, I did no speaker that day. The meeting after that, April 9th, will be John Volin, the provost of the university. And then after that, super exciting, with the help of our lovely new VOT rep, we will have Trish Riley, the chair of the board of trustees, attending. So that's super exciting. And then our final meeting, April 23rd, will be our outgoing president at the time, Michael DeLore. So be excited for that, and that is the end of my report. Moving on to the vice president for financial affairs.
Hi everyone, there will be no EBC next week because it's President's Day, it's a holiday, so there won't be any financial resolutions to the Senate next week from me as well. I have a meeting with Vice President Tripp, Athletics and Cheer on Thursday to discuss a more equal partnership between our organizations and how we can best support Cheer. President DeLorge, Pam, Sean, and I will meet in 2 weeks to begin preliminary contract negotiations. Oopsies. I've begun to meet with clubs about their annual budgets, so if you have any questions or want to talk over your budget, just want me to look it over before you submit it, please reach out to me to make an appointment. And then I have other stuff to report too. I need to report that Asian Student Association returned $38.18 to unused funds, and that our second installment of the activity check has come in the amount of $333,124,040. So if you have a club friend who is looking to host an event, send them our way. And then for my more traditional report, before the student activity fee check comes in, starting projected unallocated, which was adjusted from our projected figure to our real figure last week based off of the results of the audit, is $110,344.53. An office budget from Flying Club today in the amount of $200. Bit of a weird situation that happened last night at EBC in regards to 45S EBC 020-213-2024. From pickleball, that resolution was originally over $1,000, and then EBC considered the 2 line items separately. So one of them for $600 for open play was tabled, and the other for just like their practice space will be coming tonight, and that's technically on the resolution side, but that's over there. For the consent agenda, BSU is hosting an ice skating event for Black History Month. Fast pitch softball requested funds because the dome is down and they need a place to practice, in the amount of $850. Our Contra Dance is hosting their next Contra Dance in a few weeks. And then the other half of that pickleball resolution. And then you'll be hearing from pickleball for a separate resolution, and BSU and Kelsa later tonight for the hair care. And that's the end of our report.
Moving on to the Vice President for Student Organizations.
Hello, everyone. So I have, coming later during new business, a bunch of job descriptions. So all of the rep boards, this is a project I've been working on since like last October. And it finally gone through legal and everything. It took like 9 million steps, but we got it done. The job descriptions are done. I met with each, representative, that was hired at the time to discuss their, job descriptions and the changes because I'm legally obligated to and because I wanted their feedback. And those all got modified and are done and they will be coming later. I did realize that I already put them in your rep board binders. So I guess if they don't pass, you can just rip them out. Like I won't be hurt. But maybe I probably should have waited until they got approved, but you know. C'est la vie. And I heard a rumor that your name tags, your little name triangle tents are in my mailbox, but that must have been after I left the office today. I'm gonna go check the office to see if this rumor is true. And maybe for new business, you'll all get name tags. Or somebody's lying to me. Either way is fine. There's a full SOC tomorrow because again, nobody wanted to be first, I guess, and so we have 6 clubs coming tomorrow. So for all of my SOC pals, get excited, there will be candy, and yeah, I had a bunch of meetings that Vice President Tripp already went over, no need to bring that back. Obligated to report that Steel Bridge has been reactivated through our moratorium policies, which are officially named emergency reactivation. And I just didn't want anybody to get confused on that one. I also met with Dan Demerit with Vice President Chaplin, which I'm sure you will talk about later. Also, you all did what I said, and I was so proud of you, that like if you had clubs that you thought might have stuff in the attic, you all reached out to me. And then I realized that I was gonna spend all of my office hours hiking up to the attic. So I'm just gonna start making attic trips and like I'm gonna set a time and I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm going to the attic at this time and I'll meet you and we'll get the keys and we'll have a great time with our custodians and we're gonna go get stuff. And so I will be sending out like a link to meet to see when those times are. If you cannot make those times, I will make another time, but I just didn't feel like I needed to go to the attic 10 times. It's not very special. If you have any questions or you'd like to talk more about my position, if you're at all interested in it, because I am graduating once again, let me know. End of report.
We'll now move on to the Vice President for Student Entertainment.
Oh, I also have that report and I forgot that he was next. Okay, let's party on. They sent it to me in a screenshot, which is not very helpful. Okay, this is your report. Hey everyone, this week I met with CSI to discuss partnering for the talent show we've been talking about. Right now, a tentative date for that is April 13th. Right now, it's looking like our meet and greet with Ben Barr, the hockey coach, and some of the team will be right after the season ends. I also had a meeting this week with the Collins Center to discuss partnering for the second show of the main event series. Finally, I have compiled all of the numbers of movie tickets used into a spreadsheet sorted by week for Pam, but let me know if anyone is interested in seeing that information. And then he included a second thing that said he is ill tonight and is beginning to think he has a compromised immune system, which he thought we would throw in there. So, end of report.
All right. Moving on to the Vice President for Student Leadership.
Hi guys, so firstly, can everyone please take out your laptops or phone and fill out the poll that I sent in the Senate space. It's for the leadership retreat. I really need you guys to fill that out tonight or tomorrow morning at the latest so we can start moving forward with like planning that. There's like 6 dates on there, like early March and like early April. The first student leadership committee meeting will be tomorrow at 11 a.m. in the offices. Feel free to drop in or let me know if you want to get involved. We're going to be discussing the Student Speaker Showcase, the UMSG Leadership Retreat, and some discussions on the syllabus bank. The Student Speaker Showcase, formerly known as 10X, will be taking place on March 21st at 2 p.m. in Wells Conference Center. Come to SLC tomorrow if you want to get involved in planning the event. Recruitment is going to be sent out end of this week with applications to be a speaker closing on Friday, March 1st. Thank you DSC Carroll for all your help with the rebranding. So an initiative we're starting this semester is called Senate Best Dressed. DOC Carroll and I are coordinating this. This is literally just a fun initiative to put faces to our organization. So basically what it will be is whoever at Senate each week who wants to be featured in this, go talk to DOC Carroll during recess, and basically your photo is going to be on Instagram and in the newsletter as like the Senate Best Dressed. It can be a group photo, it can be just one person. It is not like an actual competition of who's the best dressed. This is just a fun thing. Please sign up for it if you want to. We want to try to like put more faces to this organization's name. Tabling from 11 to 1 next Friday to give out merch. If anyone wants to join me, let me know. Syllabus Bank, BP Allen, Tripp, and I attended a lovely meeting with the IT rep from Folklore last Wednesday. And he's currently working on setting up a SharePoint site for us to host the repository. And so yeah, more to come with that soon, but things are looking really good with that project. And finally, all Senate binders have been updated. There should be one in the bin for everybody, including all the senators who were sworn in tonight. Senators who were sworn in tonight, look for one without a name tag. Jeff left before, I think it was after 4. And name tags, I think everybody should have a name tag. I think there might be 1 or 2 people that's missing one, but name tags will be fully updated by next week as well. End of report.
Right, advisor to student government.
No report.
All right. Are there any questions for the speakers? Senator Waters.
Do shoes count in best dressed?
We're not doing a picture of just feet, but yeah. The photos is like the goal is to do like more face, but like sure, if like the shoes are amazing.
Senator Rickard. This is a question looked at President Deloge, and I apologize if this isn't going to be something you can currently cancel, but do you know, because of Estabrook's closure, how many students will be impacted about and how that kind of lines up with the expected enrollment of next year and how housing will work like that?
So what I've been told, or what we were told in the meeting this afternoon, was that housing is only at 90% capacity right now. So it's not like they're maxed. It appears to me that their closure of Estabrook will not be pushing students off campus or negatively decreasing the ability for students to live on campus. Now, personally, I think it's frustrating. You didn't ask this, but personally, I think it's frustrating that Estabrook is closing. But I think it's positive that they're increasing the amount of renovated new housing. So closing Estabrook, I don't think poses a housing crisis on campus. It's just kind of a rearrangement.
Thank you.
Senator Thompson.
Do you have confirmation on if honors housing next year will include first floor work?
I do not. The email that was sent out that Senator Martoni forwarded it to me. I believe it was sent by housing. So if you're an on-campus student, you should have received that email. To the best of my knowledge, everything that was sent in that email is accurate. So if it says something about York, I would trust that. I think that they'll be doing an official announcement about rearrangements in the next few weeks, and I'll definitely let you know to keep an eye out on your email when they confirm new news.
Senator Bone.
For VP Tripp, based around seats, will there be any more seats around the Senate tables in future meetings?
So that was exactly what I was thinking when I was starting this meeting and seeing how snug we are. I think it's absolutely a step we need to take, and it's a super exciting one we get to take. But I will work with probably our Sergeant at Arms in kind of coordinating something about expanding, because I would also like to make sure that everybody who wants to sit at the table can have one. Any further questions? Senator Rocky.
For VP Social Government, just a heads up on the survey, there's no way to like mark that you're not available for specific days since all the questions are required.
Vice President Over.
Also for Vice President Chaplin, well, I was gonna ask that same question, so you beat me to it, and then also, did you put the name tags in my mailbox? Or are you just talking about senator name tags?
So Jeff gave me name tags, I sent him the file, and he printed out most of them. I think I missed just like Representative Guzman, if I'm being honest, because there was already one in there.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. But so like, there should be one, the name tag should all be in most of the representatives' binders. I think there's like 2 that are missing, like Guzman and the SAAC one.
Okay, and you put them in their binders?
Yes,
Oh my god, that's so nice of you.
it was in my mailbox.
Oh, love me, guys, you have name tags. My bad.
Senator Brown.
On the topic of the survey, where do we find that exactly? I mean, I missed that portion.
I can take that one. New senators might not be in the space yet. I'll make sure you are at the end of this meeting. So you may have to drop that again in the chat later. Okay, cool.
And if, for now, if you're filling out the form and you're not available for one of the days, just click like one of them. If you're only available for one of them, we're gonna do like a 4 hour event. So like, if you're only click 1 hour on it, it will be the same thing as not being available for the whole day. My
Further question? All right, moving on to periodic reports, starting with the faculty senate student representative.
All right, everybody, we had a big old faculty senate meeting last week. They began the meeting by approving the May 2023 minutes, which I thought was pretty hilarious. That's sort of where they're back at 2 minutes. So just some awareness of how fast these things sort of go. There was sort of a minor beginning of the meeting between the sort of known budget cuts across campus and the new athletic coach contracts. There were some concerns about that from the faculty that the administration just sort of diffused questions on, didn't really answer them. But the vast majority of the meeting that I attended was about the R1 designation that the university has. And so for anyone that, I reported on this a little bit last semester, but for anyone that doesn't know, we have this classification from the Carnegie Institute. It's called R1. It means that we do the sort of highest level of research activity that a university can do based on this classification. And so in the past year or so, the Carnegie Institute has actually changed what the requirements are to meet this classification. Previously, we gained it in 2022. It was a big deal. We've got we passed out the union. It's not really something that impacts undergraduate students a ton, but it's a really big deal for the university and the administration. So they changed the requirements for this to switch over to basically research spending and number of PhDs graduated per year. We way outdid research spending that's required, but we are sort of under par for the number of PhDs graduated per year. There was like an hour-and-a-half long conversation about this where the administration was like, we need to push to make sure we can maintain this, and the faculty was like, that sounds like a big deal, we don't really want to. Because it would mean that they would redistribute funds from master's student TAs to PhD student TAs in order to sort of push their graduation numbers. So that was a very big and interesting conversation that I attended. It's not terribly relevant to the undergraduate body, but I think it's really important for us to sort of keep tabs on what is going across. I think that was all I had. Yeah.
Moving on to the University of Maine Board of Trustees student representative.
Hello. Since I wrote my report, Trish Riley picked a date, so I was gonna say we're working on picking a date. We have the date now. She seems excited to speak, and I'm excited for everyone to get to hear from her. I've also been working with the Orono grad rep, Katie Ashley, just to streamline and organize the onboarding process a bit for the reps, particularly those who don't have as strong a student government as I do, just on the board side. So that doesn't really affect you, but that's what I've been doing. And then this Thursday, I'm meeting with the Maine campus they're doing a piece about the board and how to be in touch with them if you want to be. And so I'm gonna talk a little bit about that and my position.
Moving on to the chair of the Fair Election Practices Commission.
So, as Michael, our brother Delores said, we never doctored in on disease marks. I had a candidate meeting with all of the candidates. I scheduled a meeting with Maine Campus Media for the debate. I reached out to DOT Riley about putting election stuff on the website. Me and DOC Hope are gonna meet, maybe about making a very simple video or helping you make a graphic or something with the information for the election stuff. At the very least, there will be links and really simple information so that everyone knows how to vote. And then I'll obviously also send an email proposal, and then also this year, sorry, all the club officers about voting, so that 2 emails go out, because clubs are super important to our organization. Also secured a location for the debate, which has moved 3 times due to my email chain. Also in the standing rules, thank you, VP Chaplin, it is my job to mathematically coordinate which seats are which based on student records. Also, Jeff reached out to student records so that we can have everyone's emails, so we can email everyone so that we can verify that they voted. Also, as of 22 minutes ago, Pat Stone wrote back to us and Dr. Dana and said that he would love to schedule some time the next couple days to hear concerns. And then we might also be able to meet in Wells to do a tour of the space, to show like us everything that's happening in that location as well. So that would be good, and then we can report on that. And he's gonna send a doodle poll to the people that were in that meeting. That is the end of my report.
Moving on to the student legal representative.
So Sean's recently been hired to represent 3 more students in minor criminal court cases. The student visits have been steady besides that, and should have the January usage report next week.
Representative to the Graduate Student Senate.
Oh, no report.
Orono Town Council Liaison.
Okay, so last council meeting was Jeffrey Wingard's last, so he's retiring from the position, and the Orono City Council meeting started with a public comment. 2 people wanted to thank the town council for making a referendum to move the election from March to November. Second point of importance was the remodel / renovation of the current public safety building, which is, I didn't know this, but Orono has a police station and a fire station all in one building. And it is cramped, and like town council took a tour of it, and they said that they needed to redo it. So they voted on it. The council was divided on if they were going to allocate the funds for it. The funds were $80,000 and $80,800. So the council was divided on if they were gonna vote on it now or throw it back to committee. They voted to throw it back to committee because they wanted more information about it. The third major discussion point was about the Friends of Orono Schools wanting $100,000 of discretionary funding for lighting along various locations around Orono schools. Lastly, a very long report, as of noon today, Councilwoman Bertha Sell contacted VP Tripp about wanting a student on the hiring committee of the new town council position. Town manager. I feel that it makes most sense for me to serve that position role, although I would love for you guys to discuss it. End of report.
Old Town City Council Liaison.
No report.
Alright. Representative of Military and Veteran Student Affairs.
Hi, everyone. This is gonna be a little long, I apologize. So I met with a bunch of different people this week, and the general consensus is that they didn't know that we existed as an organization. They did know Tristan though. They loved you, don't worry. So a lot of this position for me is gonna be setting up the structure for how this should be run in the future. So on Friday, I had a meeting at the Veterans Lounge, and I'm probably gonna set up a cute cork board with just like a poll or something for people who go into the lounge, military related. And then I had a meeting with Steve Grant, who's gonna put me in contact with Nori Jones, and he said that her job in the past has been representing military students on campus, and he didn't know exactly what she did, but I'm going to find out. Lieutenant Williams asked me about scholarships that we could offer for military students or veterans on campus, and after meeting with Keegan, I'm going to direct them towards the student leadership scholarship that we offer. And then next, I went to the Navy, and I had a meeting with Captain Joseph Hendren. And his first option for me to how to help out was to be a part of the funeral services, which I think is a little above what I know how to do. Next was to help advocate advertising for some of the events they have. So there's a Zimmerman Challenge that's gonna happen on April 20th, and I've already started helping them with advertising for that. And I can help volunteer for the military ball and other related activities. I offered volunteership for just about anything, but I will have it more structured in the future. I called the Orono Town Sexton, Mike Smart, about their flag retirement ceremonies they have for their cemeteries, because there's flag gathering and burning ceremonies in the fall and then replacement in the spring. And I was asking to see who did that. Turns out it's just Mike. And after a 2-minute long conversation, who's already willing to give me the responsibility of 700 tombstones to do that for, which I said I'd help, but I'm not ready for 700 yet. I don't even have a car. But I am now gonna help out because there's issues with the American Legion and he doesn't like the flags that they have right now. So I'm going to call my town sexton, which is my mom, to see what type of flags they use, because I know those flags are really nice. That's gonna happen on Veterans Day. And that would be something that would continue every year. And this morning I had a meeting with Lieutenant Colonel Steve Best. And so every morning, every Monday, I will speak to a group of 30 to 40 ROTC students about their needs or concerns up by the gym. End of report.
Communications.
Hi, everyone. I have been working with Senator Yishub on putting together a how to print video with papercut that's going to be distributed to students. Also been working closely with VP Chaplin on promotional materials for the TEDx event and brainstorming some upcoming t-shirt orders, as well as putting together some upcoming videos about the election and also VP Chaplin's position. And report.
Director of Technology.
Alrighty, so I don't have much of a report, so I'll just quickly do some bullet points. Sorry, Jeff. So big shout out to VP Trip for helping reach out to get our email set up so we can do that YouTube thing. It is a big project that we're working on and really want to do, so I'm excited for it. And I'm pretty sure I mentioned it at the beginning of this year, so it's been on my mind, don't worry. And other than that, let's see. Oh, we will have a new financial affairs webpage in 2 minutes. How many minutes until recess? So that. Oh, yeah. That's it. End of report. Yeah,
Alright.
sorry.
Moving on to the University of Maine Security Representative.
I did want to start, this will be a lengthy report. Good evening. I hope you all had a great weekend because I definitely did. Proud to report 2 things. Firstly, I had a great and productive meeting with Associate Director of Facilities Management, Jeremy Chubbuck, Facilities Management Manager Joshua Young, and UMSG Chief William Flagg. Discussed a wide array of concerns. Lights were a big theme. There are many great things about lighting, such as work to angle them, to be beacons of security, and the future of future or continuing projects. Some of the projects being the Munson Road in its final stages, as the call box is being relocated from Hotel Ursa to be right along the way where if you're going along the walkway, you have the President's House here, you have the walkway here, the call box will be along the line here. Another future project coming this summer will be the Schudig Road project. The reason why it has to start this summer is because the lighting runs all the way under the ground and the lights are coming out and will be off until then. Furthermore, the lights are continuously being replaced around campus as the lifespan of for the driver or main power supplier is 3 to 5 years, whereas lights are 20 years. Finally, if you want to report any lighting issues on campus, as well as access to other on-campus resources, download the Blackbear Safety app and report light outages. Furthermore, I do want to emphasize here, I will not be taking any questions on the matters that I will be putting forth in this paragraph. Concerns of fraternities were addressed given recent situations I will not digress on. All can be reported is an ongoing investigation is occurring and a report will be out soon. Nextly, steps for security in the case of a critical situation are being taken. Finally, concurrent with the meeting, all present were pleased with the survey. I'm drafting up the questions that will be included to help gather crucial data on security concerns students have, ratings of current security standards, and what changes the student body would like to see. End of report.
Moving on to the Center of the Undergraduate Research Liaison. All right, are there any questions for the speakers? Vice President Chan.
Ask a question to Advisor Stalka. Do you know what the first May Day committee meeting will be this semester?
James sent out a message today, actually. I'm not sure if you weren't on it.
Yeah, let's move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
President Delore.
This is for Chairman Olson. I have the student records numbers and actually did work on that last semester. If you want to talk about reappropriating Senate seats, I already kind of figured that out last semester.
Thank you, President Delore.
Chairman Olson.
Just so people know, because I didn't know this before this meeting, Kelly Sparks is in the office of the president as the vice president for finance and the chief business officer. And I forgot to mention that I talked to her after the meeting, and we're gonna have maybe like a monthly meeting. So if people have questions kind of about how like the sausage gets made financially and those decisions at the University of Maine, I would be a good person to email. That's all.
Any other questions for the speakers? Seeing none, we'll move on to reports of standing committees, starting with marketing and public relations.
No report.
Membership.
Hi, everyone. I hope you all enjoy the Chinese food. Also, thank you, yeah, I will, this means a lot. I was gonna do this during special orders announcements, but I unfortunately have to leave early, so after my report, I will be passing out little chocolates that Pam got for everyone. Pam is currently watching. Everyone, please look at the camera, say thank you to Pam.
Thank you.
Let's see, okay, my actual important report. I'm working with VP Chaplin and, I'm sorry, I'm DOC Carol on, creating email signature templates for everyone. If you are proud of your signature, please feel free to send me an email for some inspiration. That should be it, end of report.
Moving on to policy and procedure.
This last Friday, Policy and Procedure had its first meeting of the session. We discussed potentially amending the hiring policies for UMSG employees and potentially amending the city rep positions and liaison positions. Part of that discussion was pushing it all into a sort of committee and allocating different city governments to each of those members. And lastly, the job descriptions that Vice President Ober mentioned earlier were also passed through the committee, but we'll discuss that later. Policy and procedures meeting once again this Friday. If you have any ideas for resolutions, any questions, you want any insight on any student government business, feel free to get in touch with me. Stop by. Thanks.
Moving on to political activism.
All right, Senator Waters and I attended the Orono Democratic Caucus on February 3rd, where we were selected as delegates to Maine State Democratic Convention, which will take place on May 31st through June 1st, 2024. Many members of College Democrats also attended the monthly Penobscot County Democratic Committee meeting on Saturday. Additionally, I've been in contact with Matthew Marcel, the regional chair of the College Democrats of America. We have been organizing an in-person meeting of all College Democrats chapter leaders in Maine, potentially in Orono or at a central location, with this meeting hopefully being held within the next month or so. As far as I'm aware, the College Republicans and Young Americans for Liberty remain inactive.
Moving on to services.
As Director Carol said, we're working on making a printing video, and I'm in the process of setting up a meeting with Big Young, just talk about general, when we get with the board of auxiliary services, and talk about the issues on campus. And I'm putting it out there, if anyone has any concerns they want me to bring up, just shoot me an email, tell me in person, let me know, as a report.
Are there any questions for those speakers? Vice President.
I'm so sorry, I forgot questions were next, and I took a bite.
Take your time. Is somebody, are you, okay.
Okay, this is for Senator Buzzell. All Republicans and YAL are active on campus. YAL is actually currently going through a recognition process for final recognition, and the college Republicans are active. So
My understanding was YAL changed their name.
they became the College Libertarians, but just for sake of clarity, I was calling them YAL.
May I comment too,
We're not called that. Continue.
So if you need the contacts for those informations, I've actually been in contact with both of those clubs.
All right, I'm just going off of my old contacts, but it's possible that they're outdated, so.
Perfect.
So I will reach out to you.
Absolutely, thank you.
Senator Ansel.
may I comment on the college Republican thing?
No. Do you have a point of information?
Yes, that's the point of
Perfect.
information. Last I knew, they're down to one member or two because the club has been having a downfall throughout last semester in terms of volunteer leadership throughout.
Can I respond? I have a point of privilege.
All right.
Robert's rules. I know. Yes, that is true, but a new crop of college Republicans is coming to revive the club. So, as all clubs do, they ebb and flow. So I think an old club representing the same ideals has kind of died out. And now we're getting a new crop, but they're still kind of taking over the name. So I will get you those contacts, Senator Buzzell, if you just shoot me an email after this.
Okay. Any further questions for the speaker? Seeing none, we'll now move on to reports of special committees, starting with the Academic Affairs Special Committee.
I'm working on an issue with microbiology students. The department funding has been cut and they're losing classes and potentially a professor. The classes are, 208 and 210 BMB. I was gonna have people that came in and spoke during when general students could come in and speak at the beginning of our meetings. They were sick. So I got a letter instead that I will can forward on request. But basically, where did my thought go? Okay. I'm working with students on connecting them to administration, planning a letter writing campaign, and I'll be using my meeting with the associate provost to work on fixing this issue. I know all departments are being cut funding right now, but these cuts in particular, from what I understand, could end or strip an existing and thriving major at this university. So that's why it's taking particular concern compared to all the other departments, which are also being cut at this university. Get excited. Focus groups for the Equitable Access Textbook Program are happening this week. I'll report back to those for the service committee, my own committee, and a brief report to GSS next week. This morning, I attended the Student Success Hub Task Force. At that meeting, we discussed what this Student Success Hub will look like, and we determined the purpose of the hub and the purpose of the task force itself. Right now, we have heard the importance of casual peer-centric spaces where students with questions or who are completely lost can come in and have a peer walk them through solving their issue. Come later in the semester, I will have more concrete info. My committee met Friday. We talked about advocating for academic recovery seminars to be offered at no cost to students. Currently, students who are put on academic probation must pay for the mandatory academic recovery program as part of a credit hour. Tomorrow, I will be attending the faculty version of Academic Affairs Committee. So fun. And I'm still keeping my fingers on the pulse of the new transcript software that will be replacing Main Street and implemented next year. End of report.
To the Student Mental Health Committee.
What does it still say?
Oh, Representative Clifford, correct? Okay, it says still bang on accident. All right, moving on. Undergraduate Student Symposium Committee.
Everyone, yesterday the committee met and we discussed a few things. First is that we felt the best way to move forward with getting students who need help with finding printing funds, and just need to allocate like around $1,000 to a pool. That on a case-by-case basis, if a student reaches out to both Cougar and to me asking for aid in funding for printing a poster, I meet with them, I determine if they have any other route such as faculty advisors or the department to fund the poster printing. And then based on that, we would give them the $54 that it is to print. And that would just be on a case-by-case basis. Everybody that I met with, I felt was a good fit, would then go before, or I present them before the committee, and the committee would vote on whether or not. This will be a request probably coming through EDC soon. Next, we discussed the possibility of hosting our own data blitz before the poster presentation time on the symposium date. This would be during the grad students poster period, and we'd have any undergraduate who wished to participate, they just have a 1-minute elevator pitch with a slide behind them where they'd say the basics of their presentation and the research they did. So what was it, what did you find, why is it important? And then this is just to get interest and so that people can promote their project if it's not a super flashy poster. And finally, I'm currently figuring out what we will have for a home base as a space when it comes to symposium and how to ensure visibility and accessibility. And more. Moving Dining Affairs Committee.
Sorry, okay, hi everyone. The Sodexo people tabled at Hilltop last week, and this week on the 15th, they will be tabling at York. I am working on a dining survey with VP Chaplin, to hopefully send out to, the students as well as hopefully table at the dining halls in the near future. My committee will be meeting at either Fridays at 3 or 5. I'm just gonna solidify that this week and send that in the Google Space. And lastly, when I told you all I had set up weekly meetings with the Sodexo people, that was apparently untrue. So now I am adopting a what would Senator Waters do policy. And I will be knocking on Matthew Legault's office tomorrow to force him to respond to my emails. Shout out to FEPC Chair Olson, who managed to get a response from Pat Stone. I hope to be as lucky as you one day. End of report, thank you.
Are there any questions for the speakers? Senator Warren.
This is directed at Senator Waters. Just curious, I'm sure you're gonna get like 5 million questions about this tonight. I haven't heard anything about a transcript program replacing Main Street. Can you give a tiny overview?
I wish I could, but I don't know much either, and that's very frustrating. I've heard little tiny bits and pieces from Board of Trustees meetings to other meetings with administration about the new software, but can't really figure out who knows the most about it, and everyone I email either doesn't get back to me or puts me to another person who then doesn't answer my email, so no.
Thank you.
Further, Director Mills?
Senator Payne,
Yes,
do you want your survey on a website?
I would greatly appreciate that. I'll reach out to you.
Great, thank you. That's it.
President Delors?
Would you be willing to, this is a question directed for Senator Waters, would you be willing to share some of that information with me about that new software?
What little I have, of course.
And then I can help connect you with the correct people on that and we'll figure it out.
Any further questions? Seeing none, we'll move on to reports of representative boards, starting with the commuter and non-traditional students.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's good to be doing a report for CANS. In terms of the people interested in CANS, we have 12 respondents who gave me meeting times. We're looking at Wednesdays between 5 and 5:30 and Friday between 11:30 and 12. Accommodations will be met for these commuters because many of these individuals are either working directly after classes or just have very busy lifestyles. So we want to accommodate where we can. A meeting location was determined. It will be in the Wade Center. A CANS flyer was created as well as a CANS Instagram. If you haven't already, please do follow, it helps. I have a scheduled meeting in the Veterans Lounge this upcoming Wednesday to try and get in some of those older folks in the military. I met with Devin Carrier from the CNTP and I messaged Brittany McPhee with help of Vice President Trent. And I had my first office hours Thursday 12:30 to 15:30. I will say we have not had our elections yet. I'm aiming to have them closer to near the end of the semester so I can see who is actually coming to CANS, who wants to be part of those positions. And I hope that this week I can have a smooth first meeting and get some more students in. Thank you for your time.
Moving on to the Honors College Student Activities Board.
Okay, hi everyone. This is a long one because we're talking about community meal blackout, so get excited, that's coming up. The community meal blackout, we finally are almost fully funded. We've been doing fundraisers, asking for donations from different departments on campus, like the provost, president, etc. And luckily, we just got the last and final like major bits of our funds. Special thanks to BDFA Allen and Pam for their help frantically the other night. Because I remembered that I didn't know how to do this. So we finally got $8,000 thanks to UMSG to finally cover the May Day meal pack out. So we also had extra fundraisers. We had an extra fund that came in and it's covering about 2,500 extra meals now. So rather than 45,000 meals, we're doing about 47,000 meals, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it's going all across Maine, so it does a lot. And our last major fundraiser is going to be a raffle, so we want to look at it in the next couple weeks. I don't know exactly when it is, but there's going to be raffle baskets, there's some that are like Maine staples, there's a swag bag from admissions, athletics gear, and a couple of others. So pay attention to those if you want to participate. As for the Honors College, I recently just got an email from Dr. Weinauer or the Weinauer, saying that we had an overlap in events because we did not coordinate and we're figuring that out as we speak, but there are going to be 2 events in the beginning of March. One of them is the toast party and the other is a St. Patrick's Day rocks painting affirmation type of thing, and those are both set for March 6th, so we're changing one of those dates. And the Honors College also finally set up the rest of their events, and we set up the rest of ours. I am also planning on meeting with Anila of ODI to talk about DEI training, and I will be meeting with Dr. Brophy and Dr. Paterk about that as well, and a reward.
Moving on to the Fraternity Council.
Hi everyone, so still no update on Lambda Chi Alpha. But Phi Kappa Sigma who is also suspended, they're eligible to return January 1st of 2025. But aside from that, we made a new UMaine Greek Life Instagram, so go follow that at UMaine Greek Life. It's just gonna have updates on everything, IFC, Panhell, anything in the Greek community. And then as far as actual philanthropy goes, Beta Theta Pi has its annual rail jam coming up on March 1st in collaboration with the Club Alpine Ski Team, with all proceeds going to protect our winters, but I'll give you more information on that as we get closer and report.
Moving on to the Panhellenic Council.
Hi, we've been planning formal recruitment for the next semester already so that it runs smoother than last semester. I've been working on finishing up the Panhell budget for this semester and next semester, and I've also been having meetings with the FSL staff and Lori to discuss playing through Greek life on campus. End of the day.
Moving on to the Senior Class Council.
So tomorrow is our last day that we're selling Valentine's, like gift bags. We call them like bags of hugs and kisses, and it has a bunch of candy in it. They're $2 per bag and they're right in the Union Central. We do have a fundraiser at Sweet Frog this Thursday, the 15th, from noon to 9 p.m. at night. And there are 81 days until graduation. End of report.
All right, moving on to the Student Athletic Advisory Council. Does anybody have that report?
I do.
Excellent.
But now I gotta pull it up. Sorry. I'm not on top of it today. Okay. It's a pretty short report, but he wanted to report that he is sorry to be missing our Senate tonight, but he is traveling to Virginia for their championship meet. On that note, men's swim and diving is having their championship meet in Virginia. Oh my Lord. And so, yeah, we're gonna be super excited for that and cheering on the Black Bears in swim and dive. And he will have more of a report on that next week. And hopefully they win. End of report.
Are there any questions for the speakers? Seeing none, we will now move on to the Community Association report, starting with Student Heritage Alliance Council.
All right, hello y'all. During our last meeting on Wednesday, SHAC discussed proposals to add to the yearly budget. One idea we kind of agreed upon was the Shack and Chats, which will happen 1 to 2 times, like per month, in a semester, and will operate like a traditional lunch and learn. where each group under SHAC's constitution will have an opportunity to facilitate this kind of opportunity, you know, funded by SHAC, kind of have free reign over what they want to do in terms of like educational enrichment for the program. I emailed BPSO over regarding access to SHAC yearly budgets. So, you know, our current group has a reference to how SHAC or the previous SHAC used to operate, and go off of there as a reference point. Our advisor, Taylor Ashley, put in a new request for a SHAC domain. So instead of um.shac, trying to get that email back, just have a shac@maine.edu account instead. Still hoping to hear from that. Another report is I will be on a panel on Wednesday, February 28th from 1 to 2 to encourage undergraduate international students to join UMSG and other leadership positions. We're also entertaining the idea at the moment of doing an end of semester SHAC formal. More details to come, so that'd be fun. And because of how, you know, unstructured I am as president, you know, in my SHAC kind of agenda, I had a, you know, section for reports, which a lot of the group didn't understand what that meant. They thought it was like high profile reports. So I'm just gonna go based off kind of what was said during that meeting. So ASA's Lunar New Year event, complete success. Yeah, and then CAUSA has been doing their fundraiser for, you know, the carnival and hair care fair from this Monday until tomorrow. So they're selling pastelitos, which are little puff pastries with cream cheese and guava in the Union tomorrow. So you should check it out, last chance to buy. And selling goodie bags, five for a big bag, 3 for a small bag, and also have a raffle which you can enter. And then BSU is also doing a fundraiser for the hair care fair. So they're doing like a pop-up thrift shop where they're selling clothing, which is gonna happen tomorrow and Friday. So definitely if you are in the Union, you stop by, look at the table, there's some really cool stuff. And then Halal had their Shabbat dinner last Friday, and will continue to have their Shabbat dinners throughout this semester. Additionally, there is a stipend if you wanna go help cook for Halal, and just help the community in that organization kind of before the pre-prep to the event. And then in this upcoming meeting tomorrow, I invited Sam to be a part of the table and hopefully induct them into SHAC to be a part of the conversation and the report.
Moving on to the Feminist Collective, does anybody, perfect?
Once again, I have that report. I have everyone's report tonight. That's super exciting. Okay. So they said that unfortunately, but also fortunately for the campus community, there is Healthy Sex Mingo happening as a collaboration with CSI, that is happening currently from 7 to 9 p.m. But if we finish before 9 p.m., that they said to stop by and check it out. They are also working with TRIOTA, which is the Women's Gender and Sexualities Honor Society, to bring back the vagina monologues, which I know we have talked about several times. But before hosting our auditions, we will be hosting a film showing on February 21st at 1 p.m. in the Union Room 223. More information on the opportunity to perform soon, and a flyer for the film showing will be dropped in the Google chat later. Thank you for your time. Have a lovely day.
Perfect. Moving on to Wildstein.
Student auditions for the drag show are going to be on February 29th from 6 to 8 p.m. in the IMRC. And in other news, we have confirmed our host for the drag show. And I've already spoken with Sean about getting contracts, starting to get those worked out and report.
Perfect. International Student Association.
Good evening, everyone. As for anyone who's not aware, my name is Dylan Merchant. I'm an ICA rep. I got all my paperwork settled, so it is not vacant anymore, which is great. I'm very happy to be working with all of you, and there's many issues that I would like to be addressing within this position. One of being that has really been concerning with me that I would like to make everyone aware is the lack of halal and kosher options, along with the other accommodations for multi-religious students on campus. It's been brought up by international students, but I know this is also a domestic issue from students who are from Maine and also out of the States. It is from that, I'm also announcing that, and Nate has been I got the okay from Nate for saying this. I've been joining from the Dining Affairs Committee to make sure that these issues are being addressed so that all students, whether from Knox or York or anywhere, are able to get the food that they're able to have within their religions. In terms of International Dance Festival, we are gonna be doing our little practices at CCA. And again, International Dance 2024 is gonna be happening on the 24th of February on Saturday. There's a matinee at 2 p.m. and there is the actual show at 7. If you're able to make any of those, great. It is free. We have 20 events that are taking place. Get excited. And aside from the main motion, which you've seen on the docket, oh, we did not get the penguin, so unfortunately 6 continents, not 7. Yeah, the penguin can't survive Senate, so, end of report.
All right, are there any questions for the speakers? Representative Leah?
I need to add something onto my report. I forgot to say, we're also accepting video submissions, video auditions for student auditions for the drag show to accommodate when people cannot make that time.
Any further questions for the speakers? Seeing none, if it's the pleasure of the Senate, we will now move into our 5-minute recess and re-adjourning at 7:14. All right, we're gonna call this meeting back to order. Vice President Allen?
Just a quick point of privilege, sorry. Just elaborating on something that I explained in my report. So the pickleball club came into EBC last night with 2 requests, 45S EBC 20 and 45S EBC 21. 45S EBC 20 was originally an act to allocate funds to the pickleball club in the amount of $1,150 for practice rentals and open play. So practice rentals totaled $550 and open play totaled $600. EDC wanted a bit more clarification on open play. We were a bit confused about that pertaining to racket sports and how integral that was for members of the club versus it just being sort of like a community activity. So someone in EDC made a motion, a motion to divide the request, which if you'll remember, a motion to divide is to consider the 2 line items individually. So EDC tabled the line item that was for open play, and that's why it was tabled on my EDC or on my report. But they did decide to pass the act to allocate funds to the pickleball club for practice rentals, but there is a mistake on the agenda in that allocation is under new business, where it should be under consent agenda because it's under $1,000. So it's just gonna be under the consent agenda.
Yeah, so just keep in mind that the consent agenda that I'm about to call for approve includes 45S EBC 20, the 550 for the practices. Is everybody clear on that? All right, I am now entertaining Senator Epsall.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
If that's the pleasure of the Senate, that's adopted. Yeah,
Sorry.
President Allen?
Just another quick point of privilege. I have come down with an illness, so I'm going to leave. But President DeLorge is going to provide any elaboration necessary for the financial resolution. So I'm gonna leave. But thank you.
All right, we will now move into new business, starting with 45S EBC 17, an act to allocate funds to the Black Student Union and CALSA for for 2 totals of the first 2,588, and then for CALSA 2,623. And we have speakers at this time. Excellent, the floor is yours.
Hi, everybody. So I think we all know that we cannot deny the history of hair within the Black community. Whether here, there, now, or forever, hair has persisted throughout Black history as a staple of our being. It signifies rebellion, connection, ties to our community, and history, which can be found in each style today. For me, many of my BSC members, many of CALSA's members, many members of multiple multicultural organizations here on campus, hair care determines our wellness.
It may be hard to understand, but the very maintenance of our hair is something that brings joy inwards. Through hair, this joy can be expressed outwards. Many of us, our members in the surrounding community of undergraduates, do not have access to this hair. As many of you know, if you haven't lived here before and don't have access to a car, there's no way to get anywhere. We want to bring this care to our students. We want to provide an opportunity for learning and connection to be accessed through hair. The Hair Care Fair is an event that serves as an opportunity for enrichment and learning through the process of this hair care. We will be inviting 6 braiders and 2 barbers, including 1 volunteer barber, to teach students how to best care for and maintain their hair. They'll braid and cut students' heads while teaching them about the best products, brands, techniques, and more to further their knowledge about their hair. Each braider is only allowed 5 heads during the time they'll be doing hair, with the barber's limit being 11. Braiders will be paid $115 per head, while the barber will be paid $35 on top of an initial $100 for just cut. We'll notify the braiders of this hard limit and stress the importance of limiting themselves to this number. On top of that, Aloe and I, as well as the rest of the students that will be helping staff the event, will keep track of the braiders' amount of heads throughout the entirety of the event as we did last year. We will keep a wait list and slot each student with a braider who has availability and has yet to reach their cap. Once they reach this cap, the braider will be done for the day. Any attempt to braid more heads will result in us notifying the braider once again of this limit and stressing they will not be paid for this head. As for the wait list, on the day of the event of the Hair Care Fair, it'll be on a first come, first served basis. Last year, when we did try to schedule people, many people did not come for their appointments during their allotted time, which resulted in a lot of hairstylists having to wait, which is completely a waste of their time and efforts to give this service to students. Therefore, when people arrive at 9 a.m., we'll just assign them to stylists and start from there. As more arrive, stylists no longer have availability, meaning all of the stylists are doing hair. We'll provide students with an opportunity to write down their name and phone number to be contacted as soon as a spot opens up. They'll be given 15 minutes to arrive before we keep going that fast. But that's it.
All right, do we have any questions for our speakers? Oh, Senator Bell?
How many did you expect to attend this year?
Last year we had around, I think, 20-ish people. I calculated for basically like a bit of a bump up.
Last year was it was like 35 people, yeah, from braiders and barbers. So the estimate this year is 40 to 50 people. And this is based off of the numbers last year and also a survey we put out a few weeks ago asking if people were available during this date and if they would be wanting to get these services.
Any other questions for our speakers? Seeing none, what is the committee's recommendation?
700 ought to pass as amended.
All right, Senator Peterson?
I move to accept the committee's recommendation.
Second. If that's the pleasure of the Senate, that's adopted. We will now move into a period for discussion. Seeing none, debate. Representative Guzman.
Yeah, even though I'm not a voting member, I am in support of this event happening. Both organizations have put in the time and effort to make this happen, but also it's not just the UMSG funded effort, it's a them funded effort as they have done the fundraising to try and fund this event, not just using the student activity fee. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah, any other points of debate? Senator Martell?
As somebody who has a lot of trouble finding stylists around here to do their hair, I'm very in support of this and I will be voting yes on it.
Any further questions? Or sorry, any further points of debate? Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Seeing a clear majority in the affirmative, that passes. Right, skipping over the next one because that was past the consent agenda. We'll move on to 45S EDC 21, an act to allocate funds to Pickleball Club for $1,676. Do we have a speaker? Floor is yours.
Yeah, so we are requesting funds for a tournament, upcoming tournament we have. The tournament is through an organization called Duper. They run the collegiate pickleball scene right now. It's a super regional tournament, big tournament in Richmond, Virginia. We hope to go, this will increase our chances of making it to the national championship as the super regionals have 4 bids for the national championship. We're also planning on doing another tournament in March hosted by the University of Connecticut. That only has 1 bid, but since it's closer, we're able to completely fund that on our own. But we definitely want to go to the Virginia one. But the reason we're requesting funds is because it's obviously further away, so we'll need to pay for flights and hotels and such, so.
All right, are there any questions for the speaker? Senator Peterson.
How many members are gonna be attending, or are you planning on?
4.
Any further questions for the speaker? Seeing none, what is the committee's recommendation?
700 ought to pass as amended, sorry.
Senator Peterson.
I move to approve the committee's recommendation.
If that's the pleasure of the Senate, that's adopted. We'll now move into a period for discussion. Vice President Ober.
This, oh Lord, this club is fairly new. They just went through our recognition process last semester. And this is their first request. They have not been able to go to tournaments like this in the past because of the lack of, because of how expensive tournaments are. And also as a team is standard to bring to any racket sport competition, because you compete as doubles, like gendered doubles, and then you can compete as singles. So if they were to bring more people, they would have to bring 4, they would have to bring them in multiples of 4. So I don't want that to actually, that's, okay, it's 4, it's normal.
Any further points of discussion? President DeLorge.
Just clarification on the as amended. Flights were requested in the amount of $1,000, but due to financial policies, with 4 people going at $250 a person, that had to be amended down to $1,000 to be in line with the financial policies. And then the line item Lyft or Uber for like rideshare services was originally requested at $200, and EBC amended that to decrease it to $100 to be more in line with what they thought was adequate for students for that travel, I guess. I'm happy to answer any questions about that though, I think.
Any other points of debate? Or sorry, discussion. Yeah, sorry, teased you with that one. Any other points of discussion? Seeing none, points of debate? Senator Oldfield.
Last week, we funded a pretty similar expense for the same number of people, so this is not out of the ordinary for us, and it gives them an opportunity to get a gold bid, which is my understanding that makes national championship competitions much cheaper for you to travel to, so that would be a good opportunity for them.
Any other points for debate? Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Seeing a clear majority in the affirmative, that passes. We will now be moving on to 45S POL 22, an act to adopt the Representative and Community Association job description revision.
If you thought you were done listening to me speak tonight, boy, were you wrong. So this has been a big project that I've been working on since last semester. But it was brought to my attention last semester that the job descriptions were a nightmare. To be so real, I did not even know that job descriptions existed for our representative boards, because fun fact, we only had paper copies of them, and they've just been lost throughout the year. So that like years up. So that's very unfortunate and also like a legal liability. But we had a few, and over winter break, I just completely gutted it and rewrote the entire job descriptions, which I am going to read out to you, which I know that's gonna be really exciting for everyone. But yeah, I'm just gonna scan over it. The top information really hasn't changed. So actually, which one's the first one in the packet? Advisory Council. Okay, so if you'll flip to your packet, the Student Athletic Advisory Council. The top information, student organization, term of employment, starting date, employee type, supervisor, department division, base pay rate, and weekly required hours are all the same. I did not change that at all. So nothing like actually controversial is getting changed. It's just the description of what they do. As to better reflect what actually happens in the organization, and again, to have like the face of a document. So I added a summary, which is that there's be a liaison between UMSG and insert organization to ensure proper communication between organizations. And there are 9, sorry, I can't count, required job tasks. So they attend Senate and Cabinet, yeah, and they represent their constituency in discussions and debates. Shall attend all cabinet meetings, hold weekly office hours, ensure the organization's governing documents are consistent with the governing documents from government. Shall submit an office budget and an annual organization update, attend check-in meetings with the DPSO, the responsibility of training their successor, and shall perform all their duties as directed by the General Student Senate. I met with all of our representatives in my office hours last week, and we all felt that these were more than fair. And so we checked that box of legality off. And the only thing that I did want to bring up is because on their printed copies, like representatives on your printed copy, on the back page, it said it has an asterisk that I did not make it onto this copy, that I'm going to bring up this on the back of every page. I just, for transparency, for, I don't know, I don't want you to feel like I'm lying to you. That there's an asterisk that says, note, if job requirements are not met and or there is an adequate communication with the DPSO, UMSG reserves the right to begin looking for replacements within the organization. This just ensures that, it's just accountability that representatives are doing their job, and if they're not, that I have the power to, and they are coordinated, that I have the power to remove them. That's more just like a safety mechanism for the organization. But I just felt bad that it wasn't on the report. These are necessary for legal reasons and because representatives have so much turnover and they're not always previously involved in student government. It's nice to give them a document that tells them exactly what they have to speak. And if any representative wanted to speak on that, they're more than happy to. If not, I can answer questions at this point.
All right, do we have any questions for our speaker? All right, seeing none, what is the committee's recommendation?
4-0-0 to pass.
Senator Waters?
Accept the committee's recommendation.
Second. If that's the pleasure of the Senate, that's adopted. We'll now move into a period for discussion. Senator Warren.
As a representative last year, and as someone that started as a representative my very first year of college, which is a very nerve-wracking experience. It's really nice to see this, and I'm really happy that there's kind of this increased level of transparency and communication.
Any other points? Did I mix up?
No, was that discussion?
Okay, and then you just gave debate. That's why I was confused. You're good. Okay, my bad. Any other points of discussion? I do not know what's going on with me tonight. Seeing none, points of debate. Representative Bland.
For those of you who were here last semester, we already had to amend my job description specifically. Because that particular point was dire, and I can say, as someone who had the previous document as basically my introduction to student government, this far more represents what representatives actually do and what to expect of this job than the previous description. And I think this is a much needed update. I think this is excellent.
Vice President Ober.
Point of privilege, just for context, the job descriptions used to be completely tailored. Like each of them were different per club, which is not what our representatives do. But they were like very specific to each club, which is why I brought 2 last semester because I thought I was just changing those. But upon further investigation, they just all suck. So that's just real. So these are now all standardized. The only thing that changes is their like top bubbles. Some of them change, or they're different on each one, and then wherever it says club, it's typically bolded, because I don't know, I forgot to remove that, and it says which club it is, so, but they're all standardized, which I think will help the longevity and future-proof of this organization.
Any other points for debate? Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Seeing a clear majority of the affirmative, that passes. We will now be moving into, unless somebody, Senator Ricker.
I make a motion to table the VPFA discussion for club sports students until next Senate meeting.
Second.
Perfect. If that's the pleasure of the Senate, that's adopted. We'll now move into a period for discussion on the motion to table. Senator Oldfield.
EPFA is not here.
All right, any other points for discussion? Seeing none, points for debate. Vice President Chaplin?
The VPFA should be here.
All right. Any other points for debate? Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Seeing a clear majority of the affirmative, that passes. All right, before we move on to main motions, I just wanted to do a little bit of a PSA on our technology policy. If you are not myself, President DeLorge or Clerk Burks, and are not about to give or are actively giving a report, we ask that you keep technology use to emergencies only. That way we can have respect for those who are speaking, presenting, etc. Now we'll be moving on to our main motion, if you remember from earlier, for International Student Association for $1,000 for costumes.
Good evening, everyone. Again, for this main motion, I understand that it's a little bit out of the blue, but in terms for what we are doing for International Dance Festival, so just to get a little bit of context. So given that it is our 20th annual International Dance Festival, we have a lot of performances, and given the fact that we have 20 performances, we have 60 people joining, and that's the last time that I checked. I myself am performing in 4 performances, and we are asking for $1,000 for these costumes is because we had initially gotten that money, but due to the fact that we've had an increased turnout for students partaking in this event, the numbers had shifted, and that is why we are asking for this $1,000.
All right, are there any questions for the speaker? Vice President Ober.
How long have you known that you'll need more costumes?
This is over like the last couple of days. I want to say 2, which is why we didn't get to we didn't manage to file an EBC paperwork from Monday because it was so soon.
Oh, and point of privilege, next Monday's EBC is canceled. So that is also why this is coming through. Senator Bone.
This is for the speaker, for anyone who can answer. How much have we already funded towards this event?
For clear number, I wasn't filled in on that, but from what I was told, it was around $1,000.
I'm pretty sure the number is around $5,000.
Yeah.
I think it's 5,500 that we put through the annual budget last year. And that was a number that the Senate last year reduced from the original submission.
Any other questions for the speaker? Senator Oldfield.
And that's supposed to be directed at the Chaplin.
Sure.
So is that for like all of the events they plan or just specifically the dance?
I think the number that we gave ISA in the annual budget last year was something around $18,000 from my understanding, and 5,500 was for this event from me and Al were working on it the other day in the office.
Senator Warren.
This is directed at the speaker. How many costumes does this $1,000 cover?
So this will be covering roughly around 30 people for 6 events. And I wanted to point out something that Representative, is that right, Representative Chaplin?
Vice President.
Vice President Chaplin, my apologies. So for Vice President Chaplin, we did have a budget received for funds from various organizations, both inside and outside of this institution. But these funds are allocated to very specific things, such as the CCA rental, lights, I'm so sorry, I just blanked. Regardless, they are put towards very specific things, and we cannot dip into those funds at all.
Vice President Chaplin.
Are these costumes going to be like staying with the
group with you guys afterwards? Like, are these costumes that are gonna be sticking with ISA?
Yes.
And then follow up, do you guys have costumes from previous years that you've like gotten throughout the years, or is this the first year that you guys are kind of ordering costumes?
So with that question, yes and no. So we do have costumes that we have held on from previous events. So for any of you who were in attendance from last year's ISA, for the Turkish groom stance that I am participating in, we have vests that were used from previous attendance. But for other events that are a little bit newer for the scene, such as the Filipino tinkling, we are ordering red pants, like red parachute pants for the events, and that is because we don't have that.
Representative Guzman?
Yeah, so just for kind of some statistical information, compared to last year's numbers, how many more performers are there and how many more events are there compared to previous year?
So I cannot give you an exact I cannot give you an exact number for how many performers there were last year, but I will tell you that there were 13 performances last year, and again, as I've reiterated, it's 20 performances. And I forgot to mention this, and I'm so sorry. We do also have some people that are taking the time out of their day to be sewing like actual real like handmade costumes for this event. So we are like not simply like just buying clothes like from Amazon, like already pre-made, like we're getting like fabric and having it used to like originally made costumes, so.
Senator Rocky?
How much independent fundraising, so I should mention that, how much independent fundraising does I say that this is that?
That I have not been privy to that information, but I do have, it's an old budget that is on hand and I'm welcome to share it with the group, if need be. But I will like clearly say that it is outdated, because again, we, in terms of what Eche Yeldon, the president of ISA, and Sarah Yeldon, our club advisor, they've been closely going over the budget to make any amendments so it clears, so it clearly demonstrates what we need for funding and where it's going to.
Do we have the ability to look up minutes to see what has already been allocated to the International Dance Festival in here? Is that something we have the ability to do?
Well, yeah, just to like quick point of privilege, just for content, last year in the annual budget, this is according to Vice President Allen. Last year in the annual budget, $17,700 was approved for ISA for their yearly budget, of which $5,500 was for the CCA rental for the International Dance Festival. No other money in the $17,700 other than the CCA rental was appropriated for the International Dance Festival. All of that other money for their budget this year was for other things other than the International Dance Festival, if that clears things up. But I don't think that there's been any other requests made by ISA this year to fund anything other than those numbers that I just mentioned.
Any other questions for the speaker? Senator Harvey.
Do you have a ballpark of how much it would cost per costume?
I was only told in terms of the Turkish groom stance, we have 6 people and that's being funded at around $380 from what I was told by Eche.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions for the speaker? Senator Oldfield.
Is that $380 for 6 costumes or $380 a piece for 6 people?
$380 for 6 costumes, not a piece.
That's what I thought, but I just want to make sure.
Any further questions for the speaker? Seeing none, and given this is a main motion, there is no committee recommendation, so we'll move straight into discussion. All right, debate. Vice President Chaplin.
Well, I think that we should end up passing this through tonight because we have a massive unallocated figure this semester, as VP Allen mentioned. We don't really have any reason not to. I do have an issue with a representative board who has been a part of this organization for over 1.5 years now, that leadership team has, who knows how our processes are and knows that our our normal funding requests go through EBC. There are reasons for that. EBC is the one that is most equipped to look at these different funding requests, match them with our management policies, look through our precedent, et cetera. It's how our policies work. They know that. And I think that this was very much rushed at the end. I think this has been very poorly planned. This is one of their most major events. They knew last May that they were running this event. I'm very confused why we couldn't have the costume request come through last semester, where we could end up tabling this and getting that budget if senators wanted that more information. But yeah, I do think there's a lot of issues with this, but I do think we should pushing it through.
Senator Pearson?
Just to kind of echo that, I was the senator who brought forward this main motion, or I sponsored it. I will say that I did so very reluctantly because I think this was a very sloppily put together request, and I'm totally fine pushing it through because it's, in the grand scheme of things, not a whole lot of money, and this is a super big event for a lot of people. I just need to emphasize that this is a very valuable lesson for everybody in UMSG Inc. Please be responsible with our processes, make sure that you're on schedule with your funding, et cetera, et cetera.
Senator Warren, yes, sorry.
I don't at all disagree with any of those sentiments. I just do think that this is a really important event. It's one that is really important as far as bringing international students closer to their cultures. And I think it's a beautiful act that they wish to share that with us and with the University of Maine as a whole. And like I said, while I don't disagree, I definitely think that it's worth pushing this through because it's just a beautiful event and it's very meaningful to a lot of students.
Senator Waters.
I agree that like we need to do things in the proper process, get them through EDC, and that this is a fantastic event and we should definitely fund it. However, if I remember, Representative Demerit's only been here for 2 weeks, so I feel like these shortfallings aren't his fault or his organization's fault necessarily. So I want to make sure that we're not punishing, like we want to pass it just so that we're not like punishing him for someone else's shortfalls. If that makes sense.
President Delorge.
I just have a couple things that I'd like to voice on this. While we do have a large unallocated figure, I don't think that's a proper reason for funding any event. I think we should, put scrutiny into every event, given that this didn't come through EBC. I appreciate all the questions that were asked, and I think we do need to scrutinize each and every request, and we shouldn't treat this one any differently. With that said, I think that the Senate representatives, everyone here acted as a pretty good EBC in replacement of what would have happened yesterday. So props to everyone. Also, I would like to note the turnover in the ISA representative position. I don't think that we can place blame on any particular e-board or any particular individual. I just think that we need to ask some more questions like we did tonight. Speaking of which, I have one more question if I may.
You may.
Representative DeMerchant, do you charge ticket prices for the International Dance Festival to students?
No, this is a completely free event.
Okay.
This is free for anyone to attend within the University of Maine or the local community.
Understood, thank you.
Any further points for debate? Representative Friend.
Hey everyone, in terms of the situation that's going on, I'm very sorry that this was a last minute type thing. If there's any disagreements though, with the preparation of a resolution, I would like to see comments made a little bit outside Senate so that we can learn about how we can improve on certain things. I think using the word sloppy and it feels a little bit too hot for someone who's having the courage to stand up in front of us. But we should pass this resolution regardless.
Senator Ramsell?
I heavily disagree with the scrutiny brought forth today, given the fact that Representative DeMerchant has only been here for the past 2 weeks. I find some language to be rather disgusting and unprofessional overall.
I'm gonna accept the point of order. We're in debate about the resolution at hand. Senator Ricker.
I'm excited to pass this resolution and see the ISI dance fund tomorrow next week.
Perfect. Vice President Ober?
Point of privilege, the reason that turnover has been so rocky is that our former representative Yeldon was terminated at the beginning of the semester for not fulfilling requirements. I chose not to report that to the Senate for now because I thought it would be a bad look to kind of bring that up, but seeing as it's pertinent now. And then the process of why we haven't had a representative for so long was this termination process has been happening since last semester, and it took a very long time of me consistently reaching out to ISA to get a new representative and then to get them on board, and it took a very long time. And I don't think that the blame really falls on us, but I'm not blaming anybody, but specifically, but I think that this organization had plenty of time to know this was coming, and we gave them plenty of forewarning. Again, I'm not saying that I'm not saying we shouldn't pass this. I'm just saying that we should be very, very careful in how we approach this. And that, yeah, actually, that's where I want to end it. Done.
Senator Michigan?
Previous.
Second. All right. All those in favor of moving to previous? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Seeing a clear majority in the affirmative. All those in favor of passing the resolution? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Seeing a clear majority in the affirmative, that passes. See, no executive session. We will now move into special orders and announcements. Any member of UMSG Inc. may address the GSS for not more than 5 minutes. Advisor Sadelka.
Not technically a member, however, I just wanted to remind everyone that tomorrow is the career fair up at the rec center. Even if you are not in search of a career in the immediate future, it's a great experience to go and see it, so that when you are ready for a career, that you can see what that's like. It's a great event.
President Delorge.
I would like to commend everyone for a great meeting. While the reports have been long for everyone, it means we're doing a lot of powerful, impactful, positive work in the community. So kudos to everyone for taking your new positions and running with them. I think it's awesome. It's apparent that we really have a great group of people this year doing really awesome work. Second thing, as you saw, I had a mask on last week. I was getting over an illness, but everyone in this room probably knows someone who's sick right now. So please, if you're sick, take care of yourselves and mentally and physically, and get lots of sleep and drink lots of water, and maybe even, this isn't medical advice, but maybe take vitamin C. I don't know, do your thing. Just take care of yourself. And have a good night. Thanks.
Senator Ricker?
I can talk about like what other clubs are doing and stuff like.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
While the UN is hosting a fundraiser Friday, so if you're around in need, I encourage you to come stop by and say hello and such. The voting team is planning on doing a rollathon. So if you want to watch me like physically torture myself on a live stream, stay tuned. The village you go out on February 27th has their concert. It's at the same time as student government, but yeah, so hopefully you might be able to see it possibly. And I'm trying to rebuild the union's debate team, so if you have any interest in that at all, it's something I'm planning to do after the spring break, so message me if you have any interest in that at all. Thank you.
Senator Shelman.
From 9 AM to 4, Culture Club is selling flowers at Central Union, so stop by if you'd like any.
All right, any other, Senator Warren?
I'm super excited to announce that as the culture editor for the Maine campus, I officially started my first Senator Spotlight. This week's was with Senator Shelman. I just did that interview a couple hours ago, super, super fun. And if you would like to be featured, you can reach out directly to me, and I would love to use this name.
Any other special orders or announcements? Representative Friend?
Yeah, as I said in the report already, we have cans from 11:30 to 12 this Friday. Even if you're not someone who's part of cans, you're more than invited in solidarity.
Any further special orders or announcements? Seeing none, I'm gonna take one real quick, just because I do want to reiterate President Delorge's point about how awesome you guys are doing in this room. Every week, I am consistently amazed, not just by the people at this table, but also the work that and kind of legitimacy that we're bringing to it and kind of in tandem with that. So everyone should really give themselves a pat on the back, because we are doing really awesome things, and it's a really thing that you should be proud of. So thank you guys for all the hard work you're putting in. And with that, sure. Clerk will call the final roll.
Sorry. Ethan Crawford. Cynthia